So David Haye knocks out Dereck Chisora in the 5th round. Spectacular knockout. First and foremost, I want to big up everyone who picked David Haye to knock Chisora out. I was really back and forth about this fight. In the end, I settled on a David Haye points win. That's what I was going for. I wasn't confident in that prediction, but that's what I was going for. David Haye points win. In the end, it didn't go to points. Haye closed the show in the 5th round. A few things I talked about before the fight seemed to be playing out in the fight. Chisora's weight, I think, did affect him to some extent, because when he got in close on David Haye, he wasn't letting his hands go. He didn't have the same sharpness that he had against Klitschko when he was like, 6 or 7 pounds lighter. I don't. It probably wouldn't have made much difference, but Haye was outboxing him pretty soundly. I mean, he was being made to work hard. Don't get it confused. Haye was having to work hard in there. I know Haye after the fight said that Chisora was tougher than he expected. He thought he'd be able to knock him out in a couple of rounds. That did not take place. But what did happen, and what I noticed in the first couple of rounds, is that Chisora wasn't as aggressive as he was against Klitschko or Helenius. So Haye must have got his respect in there. And that's one thing I talked about before the fight. If Haye, in my initial prediction video, I said if Haye can get Chisora's respect, if he can hit him hard enough to get his respect, you don't even have to drop him or knock him out with a shot. But if he can hit Chisora hard enough to stop him just walking in, then he might just be able to outbox Dereck Chisora over 10 rounds. And that's the way it seemed to be going, because in the 2nd round, Chisora was nowhere near as aggressive. I know he normally does start slow, but he seemed cautious, you know what I mean? He was keeping his defense very tight. Haye wasn't really landing anything clean in the first few rounds, and Chisora was walking him down, trying to jab to the body, and he was a bit wild. He was a bit wild when he got up close, when he did manage to let his hands go. But David was made to work hard in there, and in the 5th round, the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, Chisora was just starting to creep into the fight, and it was looking like he might start to have some success. He was catching David with a few shots. I know David ended up with a bit of a bloody mouth. A few of Chisora's shots caught him, but he took them fine, no problems. I think in one of the rounds, towards the end of the round, I think Chisora might have caught him with a left hook that's maybe slightly buzzed him a little bit. He came out in the next round a little bit slow. But Haye obviously prepared very well, and he prepared for a fight. You know what I mean? He knew this might develop into a fight. But I think he expected Chisora to be a bit easier to catch clean than he was. And like I said, David Haye, obviously we knew he was going to be the quicker fighter in there. And, as the rounds were going on, Chisora was getting closer, but he was also getting more desperate, because he was definitely 4 rounds down on the cards by the time the 5th round came. He was definitely 4 rounds down. And he started taking more chances, leaving himself open, swinging big shots as he was coming in. And one time he squared up. He backed David Haye towards the ropes. He squared up, trying to get some punches off, and left himself open. And David Haye landed a tremendous left hand. It was almost like a left hook come left cross, almost from a southpaw stance. Dropped Chisora like a sack of bricks, you know what I mean? Dropped him like a sack of shit. And from that moment, you knew it was over. You knew that the way he went down, as big as Dereck Chisora is, the way he went down, the fight was it wasn't gonna last long. He got up, he's a brave man, he got up, but Haye closed the show. Chisora was totally finished. His legs was gone. There was no way he was gonna survive that knockdown. So yeah, Haye knocked him out. Tremendous, spectacular finish. He said that Dereck Chisora had the best chin of anyone he's fought before. I mean, I don't know. I think maybe Valiev might have had a better chin. Maybe Haye was being a bit gracious there. But, I mean, Chisora did take some good shots from Haye, bang on the chin, before that knockout. But he was keeping his chin down. You understand? He wasn't getting caught with his chin in the air earlier in the fight. He had his chin down. So when Haye caught him with a shot, his chin was down, his neck muscles were tense. And some of the shot would have probably bounced off his chin and hit his, been slightly absorbed by his shoulder or whatever. You understand? That's one of the things in boxing. That's why they tell you to keep your chin down. You don't want to get caught with your chin in the air. But in the end, he did get caught with his chin in the air. He got desperate. He left himself open because he was behind on the cards. And David Haye checked his chin, knocked him out. it was a pretty decent fight. Chisora was putting Haye under pressure, and at moments in there, it looked like Haye was blowing hard. You know what I mean? It looked like is this the Carl Thompson fight revisited again? You know what I mean? Haye's boxing started to look a little bit sloppy in the third and fourth rounds, and you're just wondering then, is this going to be a repeat of the Carl Thompson thing? But no, he's in much better condition than he was against Carl Thompson, obviously, and yeah, he just waited for his opportunity. Chisora left himself open. He knocked him out with a left. Tremendous finish. And obviously now Haye wants Vitaly Klitschko. I don't know if Vitaly Klitschko wants that fight. He had a very hard time with Chisora. Haye's just blasted him out. Obviously styles make fights, so it's not as simple as saying, oh, because he blasted out Chisora, it's going to be that easy against Vitaly, because obviously Vitaly's a much taller fighter, and it's much more difficult to land hard shots like that. Because you know Haye and Chisora are the same height. You know, and I can tell you right now, you know, from boxing myself, that it's easier to get power against, you know, someone who's your own height. It's easier to hit them with your hardest shots. When you know, fighting a tall guy, it's more difficult to get that kind of power into your shots. You know what I mean? When a guy's head is so much higher, it's more difficult to get the leverage. So that'll be an interesting fight if it ever gets made, but I don't know, man. I know Vitaly's a proud man, but he had such a hard time with Chisora in his last fight. I wonder whether he's still got the stomach for that type of battle. You know what I mean? I don't know. I hope it happens, but we'll have to just wait and see. So again, yeah, big up everyone who picked Haye by KO. I thought, you know what I mean? I thought it would be a rougher fight, and at moments it seemed like it was going to be, but in the end, Chisora was too fat. Let's be honest, he was too fat. He was too slow, and you know, Haye got it done inside the distance. Not on points like I predicted it was going to be. It was inside the distance. So I'm trying to think of some people that picked Haye by knockout. I think Irish NK was someone who picked Haye by knockout. Big up Irish NK, man. He said that you know, Chisora would knock him out. Who else, man? I can't even be bothered to go through right now. I'm trying to go through all the comments and that, but hey, you know who you are, man. Big up everyone who said that you know, Haye would win this fight by knockout. A lot of people were saying inside 7 rounds, so obviously you lot all got it spot on. So yeah, where does Haye go from here? Where does Chisora go from here? I think Chisora's career, to be honest, is pretty much over. Unless he can get himself in better shape. I mean, he needs to get down below 240 because he was too slow in there against Haye. Yeah, and now his chin has been cracked. You understand? We don't know what his chin's going to be like from now on. He's had a good chin up to now, but now that his chin's been cracked, you know, sometimes fighters never get over from a knockout defeat like that. You know, and in subsequent fights, they end up getting hurt a lot. You understand? Will that happen to Dereck Chisora? I think it will. I think it actually will. I think now his chin's been cracked, his chin will be gone. I might be wrong. We'll have to wait and see, but I don't know. Let me know what you lot think about that. You think Chisora's chin is now finished? You think he's going to get hurt by a lot of people now, or, you know what I mean, can he come back stronger than this? He needs to dedicate himself, though. You know what I mean? He needs to drop that weight. 247 pounds is too much. He wasn't quick enough on the inside, couldn't get his punches off. And there was no body shots from Chisora. You know what I mean? Maybe at under 240, he would have been quicker on the inside to set himself and get his body shots off. But as it was, too fat, too slow, couldn't get the shots off. Credit to David Haye. You know what I mean? He stuck in there. He actually fought in there. He gave people value for money. He didn't run around and just and pot shot. He actually let his hands go. And in the first 2 rounds, I mean, I was talking to some people on Facebook at the time, and we was both saying, wow, I've never seen David Haye throw this amount of punches, you know, in a fight before. Apparently, you know, in the lead up to this fight, people inside the Haye camp were saying, you know, this is the hardest they've ever seen David Haye train. And I guess Haye, you know, probably knew that he would have to throw a lot of punches to keep Chisora off. And he managed to do it. So, yeah, props to David Haye. Big up everyone who picked Haye by knockout. And, yeah, let me know what you lot think in the comment section below. Do you think Vitaly will fight him? Or maybe a rematch with Vladimir? Or, you know what I mean? Well, how's this going to go down now for Haye's future? He's redeemed himself in the eyes of the British public, that's for sure. Will Tyson Fury want a piece of David Haye after this? He said he was going to call out the winner. I know David Haye probably wouldn't fight Tyson Fury. That's not a big enough fight for him. But yeah, anyway, lots of things to think about and discuss here. So let me know what you lot think in the comment section below. This is Hatman. I'm out.